Hi everybody, it's me, Jen, and I'm nothing if not intense. It's still Sunday, August 26th. Sorry about the other video and it ending so abruptly because I'm using my old software that actually has a great capability of cutting out a lot of that background whirring noise that this flippin' laptop makes, but I forgot that I couldn't really do much else with it as far as adding any video or anything like that. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of this computer. But anyway, let's remind ourselves what Sheriff Joe said about the Ogden.
As many of you already reported, Paddock rented a room at the Ogden Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. This has been confirmed. Okay? Reasons that ran through Paddock's mind is unknown, but it was directly during the same time as Life is Beautiful. We have recovered evidence from that location. We don't know if it is evidence, but we have recovered items and video evidence. And I don't want to, I'm using the wrong term. Evidence is not the term. We have recovered video from there to review Mr. Paddock's actions while he was there. Now, it's important for you to understand, the rooms were not rented by the Ogden. It was done through Airbnb by a private owner unknown to the Ogden. So we have very great cooperation from the owners of Life is Beautiful and the Ogden, and they are in full cooperation.
So, first he says he rented a room, and then he says the rooms, and they collected evidence and items, but oh, wait a minute, it's not evidence. It's just video. Bullshit. So, I'm sure that they got something from there. What, other than the video. Other than the video, I don't know what it is, but it sounds like they did recover something from there. Now this, I think, is super important. Listen to what he says. He's talking about the dates, the 28th versus the 25th. But listen to what he says. Really listen.
The dates of the 25th versus the 28th. This was not breaking news. No matter who believed it to be so in this form. We were aware of the discrepancy of the 28th versus the 25th in the early parts of this investigation. What we weren't aware of is why the date of the 28th was utilized in the early portion of this, as I was providing this information as part of the person registered in the suspect's room. We have come to learn the suspect did occupy the room on the 25th, and the situation on how the room was compensated or paid for had changed, and the name as part of the registration had changed on the 28th to include Marilou. So that was the confusion associated with that. No matter what the perception is, whether we were being non-transparent or we were attempting to be subversive, is false. I was acting on the information at the time I was providing.
So, did you catch where he said the name on the room was changed to include Marilou Danley on the 28th? So maybe Paddock had that room comped for the first few days from the 25th through the 28th, and then starting on the 28th, he started paying for it himself, plus Marilou was getting back into town, and so he added her as a registered guest so that she would be able to take advantage of all the things at Mandalay Bay and charge to the room, etc. So, I always thought, how did Levi Hancock know If all they had was Marilou Danley's player card, M-Life player card, how did he know that she shared an address with Stephen Paddock? Well, let's take a look at this, because this says it all. This is really the clincher for me. Hold on a second. This is after they breached both rooms, supposedly. But most of the guys, other people, officers had left to go clear other rooms, evacuate the hotel, and go to the other reported shootings at other hotels. So, this is Bitsko's chin cam. They're in the master suite. Newton's in there, Hancock and Bitsko. And earlier, somebody had mentioned something about a briefcase being on the bed in the master bedroom. And Bitsko's like, oh, I wouldn't open it, you know. But apparently, Levi wasn't afraid of it, so let's take a listen. So, they are in that master suite, and they're looking at documents that are on the bed that obviously contain Mary Lou's information. Now, for me personally, I know that no one has ever, this is what they were looking at. Newton had something in his hand he was reading, and, Levi was looking at something else that had her address on there. For me personally, I know that no one has ever had my personal information traveling around with them when I wasn't with that person. Married or living with that person. That's been one person I lived with and one person I was married to. They never had my information on their person in their hotel room if I wasn't there. So think about that. Are people running around with your personal information? I would hope not. So, yet again, another piece of the puzzle that points straight to Marilou Danley being at Mandalay Bay in Suite 135 and entertaining whoever was in 134. Honestly, because if you can say that somebody's out there running around with your personal information and documentation, and you're not with them, and they're just leaving it laying on a bed in a hotel room, then you've got some problems. So think about it. Think about it. This is so far-fetched, them saying that he registered that other room in her name and she wasn't there. It's a complete lie. And also, in the final report, they reference finding her DNA in the rooms or room. DNA. Several items were collected for analysis from 135 and 134. Obviously, they included the firearms, along with personal items that were compared to known samples for Paddock and Danley. The results for the firearms for Marilou were either inconclusive or negative. However, DNA recovered on personal items located in the rooms were tested and found to belong to Paddock and Danley. Now, she admits that her fingerprints are going to be on some of the ammunition because she helped load those magazines. So we know that. We knew that. This sounds different, that they found it on something else. But you guys can take that for what it's worth. But there again, it points to her being in those hotel rooms. To me, it does. And I just briefly want to address the Marilou Danley worked for the FBI thing. I find it highly suspect that all of a sudden now this shows up on a background check on Marilou Danley. People have checked her out from coast to coast since the beginning, and this is just now showing up. I find it highly, highly suspect. Highly suspect. So that was on IntelliHub. And then you've got True Pundit that comes out with basically the same thing, but they take it a step further, that she listed FBI as her place of employment on a loan application. We don't see that documentation. We don't know when that was. If it was within the past few years, what the hell would she need a loan for? Paddock bought her a brand new car. They were living in brand new homes. He was paying her a monthly allowance, per se, so she quit her job so she could travel with him. So I don't see a need for her needing a loan in the past 4 or 5 years that she was with him. Previously, maybe. But again, if this is such public information, why not share that with us also? And does it really matter if she's a paid FBI informant, employee, whatever? To me, it doesn't. That doesn't give her an easy pass on the toll road and she just gets to drive right on through without paying. Bullshit. Either way, she was there, she was involved, she has culpability, she needs to be held accountable, and we need to know the truth about what really happened, because I'm telling you what, she is the one person that knows. So whether she's connected to the FBI or not, at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter to me. Because I've been on this Marilou bandwagon, I've been beating this drum for 9 months. So it's not like I'm just jumping into the fray now. No, I've been saying this for months and months and months. She was there. She knew what happened. What her involvement is, I don't know. I didn't claim to know then. I don't claim to know now. All I know is that she knows way more than they've ever reported to us that she knew, and they try to make her this victim, and, oh, poor little Marilou. No. F that. No poor little Marilou. She knew what the hell was going on, and she needs to be held accountable. We need to know the truth. Where the hell is she? Nobody even knows. Nobody even knows. So, again, her fingerprints were on ammunition. Her DNA was in the hotel rooms. She was added as a guest on the 28th to room 135. So you tell me that she wasn't there, and I'll tell you that maybe you're not very smart. And I know I might get some flack for this, but I don't give a shit, because this is how I feel. This is what I know. This is what the research has showed me. And this is what I've been saying for months and months and months and months. So I don't get the whole all of a sudden trying to make her an FBI informant. I don't know what the motivation for that is. Because again, I find it highly suspect. If this information was so easily accessible, why didn't we find it 10 months ago? Why is it just now coming out? Where's the document? Where's the loan app that she listed her employment as the Federal Bureau of Investigation? True Pundit, at first, I was like, whoa, because they really validated, like, my Turkish-speaking dude that broke into Metrocom. But then once they got, and they ran with the Brian Hodge thing, and that he was in 32-134, which, no, he wasn't. That's when I kind of lost some faith in them. So I hadn't really been paying attention. And then IntelliHub, I was a huge fan of Shepard Ambulance. I pronounced that wrong, but whatever. But again, once he went up Hoover's ass, and he was on the Brian Hodge thing too, to me, that's not credible information. So again, I've just kind of, strayed away from that too. So, to me, there is a reason that all this is happening right now. What that reason is, I don't know. But again, if this were the case, we should have been able to find this information 10 months ago, because it wouldn't have changed places. So it does show her Reno, Sparks, Mesquite, Memphis, Washington, New York, FBI, the Atlantis, one news page. She would be 63, 12, 54, I believe is her date of birth. I don't know. I just don't even know what to make of this. But again, I wouldn't bet my life on that one at all. I would, however, bet my life on that she was in Las Vegas that night. I have no qualms whatsoever stating I would bet my life on it. That's how, I just know because of all the evidence. Tons and tons and tons of evidence that point to her being in Las Vegas, being at the Mandalay Bay Hotel, being at the noodle shop, eating on that Friday or Saturday. That Friday. So in the PDFs, you've got one witness account, stating she worked at the noodle shop, she was a busser or whatever, that Paddock was there with a Filipino woman. But then in the final report, you've got another person that works at that same noodle shop that said Paddock was there all by himself, but he ordered and he ate two entrees. So, I mean, to hear them tell it, this dude is just scarfing. Every time he eats 2 meals. I mean, good Lord. But yet when he was at the sushi place, on surveillance, seems to me he only ordered 1 entree. So that's kind of weird because, again, it seems like they have told us, I don't know how many times, that he was by himself, but he ordered 2 meals for 2 people, but he's the one that ate those meals. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I have some other stuff coming up. Good stuff. Good stuff. But, again, just look at this shit logically, guys. I mean, look at that calendar in my previous video of all those rooms and the overlap. No, that is so far-fetched to say that all those rooms were for one person. But this is the theory of the big lie set in motion. You can say something, the most outrageous thing, but if you keep hammering it home, saying it often enough, most will come to believe you. And that's exactly what LVMPD and Aaron Rouse with the FBI have done. So, it's just astonishing, the shit that they think we will believe. So I hope everybody's had a great Sunday. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I will talk to you soon.